Edwina,
Bula,
how
how are
are
you?
you? I want everyone to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
It is good to have you on our show. Good to see you. You're looking really good.
You?
Uh, Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show this afternoon. I've
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime you want to come on the show, please feel free to come on the show and share your story. And so I've just kind of shared with our listeners this afternoon briefly about your history. I think that's what you sent me. Cancer
Yes.
survivor for 5 years now. And
Yes.
yes, I must say you look really good. And so, without taking too much of your time, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Just say hello to everyone that's tuning in this afternoon. And we would really like to hear your story.
All right. So, Bula Vinaka, my name is Edwina Ali, and I'm 44 years of age, and I'm a cervical cancer survivor, 5 years now. All right.
Amazing.
Sorry. Well, I'm from Suva, born and raised in Suva, and my father's Muslim and my mother's Samoan. So
Got
yeah,
it.
I'm a part.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So 5 years, huh? Uh,
Yes.
Can I ask? I know it's a personal question, but I just figured on this show, and especially with the cancer survivors, everything is kind of out there. So I would like to ask, how old were you when you were first diagnosed?
I was 37.
37. That's really young.
That was in 2017. I was diagnosed.
So you had cervical cancer.
Yes.
Is that the kind of cancer too that could be detected if you had your pap smear?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Got
was
it.
detected through Pap smear.
So you did go for pap smear and it was detected.
Yes.
Thank you, Edwina. Could you just share, from then, like what happened? How did you go and get tested, or were you sick, or what happened? Please, can you kind of walk us through your story?
All right. Well, it started in 2015 after I gave birth to my second child.
Mm-hmm.
So after delivery, like I was bleeding, not much, just a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to the doctors and they said that it's normal. After delivery, right? You
Right.
will have a bit of bleeding.
Bleeding, yes.
So, yes. So, like I wasn't really, I didn't really bother about it since they said it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Little bleeding is okay. So I left it. I just left it like that it went about for 1 year.
Bleeding for 1 year.
Yeah.
Were you in
But like
any
it
kind of
wasn't,
pain?
no, no pain. And
Okay.
it wasn't really that bad. It was just spottings.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really bother
Mm-hmm.
about it. Yeah, so it went around for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Then in that was 2017, January 2017, that is when the bleeding started. It was heavy bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to the doctors. That is when I started having back pains and stomach pains.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctors again. They checked me, and then they said, just looking at me, the doctor said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you have cervical cancer." Just by looking at, when they did the
So,
checkup.
did they examine you or just
Yeah,
they did?
yeah, they did that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they said, okay, we need to take a sample of the bleeding, right? The clots that were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So they tested it, and then it was confirmed that it was cervical cancer.
Did they
Yeah.
say at like what stage at that
Uh,
point?
yeah, that time I was stage 3B.
So
Stage
curable.
3B, and like the doctor said, for me, doing chemotherapy wouldn't help.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to have radiation done,
Mm-hmm.
and which is not available in Fiji. So I needed to go to India. They said it would be better for me to go down to India and have radiation. Internal radiation and internal radiation.
Got it. So I have a question.
Yes.
Didn't you think at that point, the reason why I'm asking this question, because unlike our listeners, I already know where you're at this point, and the damage that is there for life, right? Didn't you think at that time to get a second opinion?
Well, honestly, when the doctors told me to call my family in, right, to have a conference meeting to discuss about my going to India and having treatment done, like at that time, I was like, oh no, I don't want to go to India and have treatment done, because the first thing came to my mind was like I mean, everyone has this money problem, right,
Right,
financial.
right.
So that is what I thought of, and I was like, no, it's okay. I don't want to have treatment done. And since I'm, already like I'm close to the last stage.
Wow.
So I didn't want to go. Yeah. And then the doctor was like, no, you should go have the treatment done because you are still young. Like I will recover fast. That was what he said. I will recover fast. Yeah. So my family pushed me. They said, oh, you need to go and have it done. So I decided to go. Yes, and well, I was lucky that my medical, like I went to India through the Ministry of Health. They paid for my whole medical bill in India.
So you worked there. That's where you worked.
Sorry?
That's where you worked, and that's how you were able to get that coverage? To be able to afford the trip.
Yeah. The Ministry of Health paid for my medical bill.
Yes. So it was either you went to India or you, as far as you're concerned, I don't want to go, I'm just going to stay, knowing fully well that was, like one stage away from the last stage. So you were either going to go, you didn't want to go, or you were just going to stay there and that was it. Whatever happened, happened.
What happens, happens.
Wow. Yeah. That was brave. So you went to India.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because of my genes, I guess. So like, even though I was on that stage, but I was fit to go on my own and have my treatment done.
Okay.
I didn't look sick at all. So I went alone. Went alone. I mean, I asked everything. Like the doctor explained everything to me, what to be done and everything. So yeah, he agreed that I could go alone and have it done and come back. So I went alone, and then they started. Well, I went to Apollo Hospital.
Where was that?
That's in Apollo Hospital. That's in Hyderabad.
Okay.
So I went to have my treatment there, and as soon as I reached there, they started all my tests again. The test needed to be done because when they did my X-ray, the cancer cells were almost reaching my hip bones, like just 1 centimeter away. So they needed to do my treatment
right away.
Yeah. So well, I had that done. Every day I used to go in for my radiation. The side effects are same as chemo, vomiting. I mean, you feel weak, diarrhea. Yes, all the same effects. Yeah. And during radiation, the doctors called me in. They stopped it halfway, and then they called me in, and they said that okay, during radiation, the laser, right? It damaged my urine pipe. So when he told me that, so I was like, okay, you fix it,
right.
Because like
you're in the hospital. Yeah.
So like I didn't really know, like since they said, oh, we damage your urine pipe. So I was like, okay, you fix it.
Right.
And then they explained to me that no, once that happens, it cannot be fixed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I asked him, so, well, what will you do then?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, we will need to remove your bladder. When he said that we'll need to remove your bladder, then same time I asked him, okay, then how will I go to the to the toilet, right?
Right.
So then he called in a surgeon, and then the surgeon explained to me what will they do to me. I mean the surgery, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, okay, we'll need to remove your bladder, and you will have a stoma. So they explained to me what is a stoma. So I have a stoma on my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the my urine passes out. Yes, and I use a urostomy bag for that, which is on me 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's for life. So I can say that not I can say, well, this having this stoma, this is what is keeping me alive. So this is the urostomy bag that I'm using. That's on my stomach.
So the stoma is what connects what was supposed to be your bladder to the bag.
Okay. The stoma is that is they've cut at least around 20 centimeters of my intestine, and one end of it they've attached it to my kidneys.
Got it.
And the other end of the intestine, that's the stoma, means a hole. So the other end is on my stomach. That is where it's open. So if you look at my stomach, what you see is you can see my intestine.
Oh
that
my
is showing.
gosh. Wow. I can only imagine how you must have felt at that point, being out there all by yourself.
Yeah, so like when I had to have my surgery done, that is when my sister, she flew in. So she needed to, she had to look after me. Yes, my sister came in.
Wow. How long was the recovery?
Well, recovery was very hard since I didn't know anything about the stoma and what to do with it, how do you take care of it. So first year was hard, like getting used to it. Yeah, first I can say almost 1.5 years. I need to get comfortable with it, I should say. And now 5 years with it, it's like, yeah.
It's
like
become normal.
Sometimes I even forget that I have it. Because I do everything the way I used to live. I do everything. It doesn't stop me from living my life. Yeah.
Amazing. I bet it must have been like a huge change of perception, your thought process. Wow. Could you tell us how you went through that? Because it's one thing to deal with all the physical changes that you go through in your body, and then you have to kind of adjust your mindset. How did you deal with that?
Well, the thing is, like, while I was still in India after having the surgery done, while I was still in hospital, and I used to say to my doctor, right, that, oh, I don't like having this bag. I don't like it.
Who would?
Then, and to make it worse is like, because I didn't know anything about it. First time I heard what a stoma was. Then he took me down to the maternity ward. He took me there. He put me on a wheelchair. He took me down to the maternity ward, to the newborn babies ward. He took me there, and then there was a small baby there, a newborn baby, with a bag on, with a colostomy bag on.
Right.
And that the baby was like, I think, not even a month old. And then he told me, you look at this baby that is almost a month old with a bag ready, and and I was 37.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, whenever I feel down
Mm-hmm.
and I think about this bag and all those things, so he was like, you think about this baby. Like I've lived 37 years of my life without a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have it and I'm able to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will, I mean,
Continue on with life.
understand. And then he said that, what about this baby? This baby doesn't know anything. And he has to grow up with this bag. That is what the doctor said. So like whenever I think about the bag, like whenever I feel down, I picture that baby with them. So that thing, it changed, the way I think of having a colostomy. Yeah, that thing really helped.
So I know the colostomy bag is the other bag. What is that bag called again?
The bag
The
I use is urostomy
urostomy.
because that's
Wow,
for urine. Yes.
that's amazing. I mean, you look amazing as it is.
Thank you.
No one would ever think that that's that you go around carrying that bag with you. So I guess it's all in the mind, right? So now 5 years
Yeah.
later, you're 5 years with the bag. How does it feel? I know you said you just go on with your life as if everything is normal.
Nothing is there. Yeah.
Wow. Did your family have to adjust to that as well?
Uh, yeah. I mean, in the start they did, because like they knew how scared I was having a bag, and I didn't like the whole of the first year. I was even scared to wear tight clothes.
Mm.
Always wore loose clothing, and then once I got used to having this bag on me,
Mm-hmm.
then I started going back to the way I used to dress,
Mm-hmm.
and now everything is okay. I mean,
Amazing.
yeah.
I know that.
and
Sorry, go ahead.
and I mean, when I tell, like when we go into awareness, I explain
Mm-hmm.
my situation that I have, and people, I mean, they say to me that looking at you, we can't tell that you have a bag on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when I tell them then.
Mm-hmm.
That if I don't say anything, no one can say that I have.
That's what you have. Thank you for sharing your story. Nimbolo binaka Litia ko maimbole. Litia is saying, one of our listeners, I know that she's also an ex-nurse. I think I could be wrong. Nimbolo binaka. She's saying you're not alone. That she also takes care of a client with that same condition. So I'm baki vida beko koya Litia. I know. So now you're 37. You're in your 40s.
Yeah.
How long have you been associated with the Silver Cancer Survivors group?
Oh, well, I joined this group last year.
Wow,
It's
and
more than a yes.
more than a year. Anna
Yeah.
Rose
But,
Bulabinaka,
like
no, it's not reversible. She has to have the bag for life. It's
yes,
irreversible. Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, look at her. You look good, and thank you for sharing your story. The other client that I just mentioned is 56 years old, so not that much older as well. But now that you've been with the Cancer Survivors group for a year, more than a year, have you met anyone else with that same situation, the same condition? I say situation because you didn't have that. It didn't have to be that way, right? Because of the
yeah,
treatment, and somehow things just went wrong, and now you're stuck with that bag for life. So have you met
yeah.
anyone else with that same situation that went through that
Yes, I have. I mean, I've met a few, and
in
um,
Fiji?
yes. Should I mention?
You don't have to say any
And
names.
I mean, there's a friend of mine. She's there in the US at the moment. She
Got
has
it.
the same thing.
I see.
We use the same bag, yeah.
Okay. And did she get it
So
because of that? How did she end up with the bag?
no, I really don't know the whole details about how she had it, how she had that thing done. Yeah, but
Got it. So you got that because of something went wrong during your treatment. Back to
yeah.
cervical cancer. What would you tell us? What could you share with our listeners at this point? Because of what you went through, do you think early detection, or how have you changed your life? Apart from the fact that you've got the bag, but let's talk about cervical cancer and what would you have done differently?
Oh,
Or what have you changed? What have you done differently after you got the treatment and now you're here? Because I know a few women that we've talked to that have come on the show. They've had to change like their lifestyle, the food, and even like the way they think. Could you share with us a little about that part of your life, that process?
yeah. Well, after being diagnosed with cancer and then having treatment done, it has changed the way we think, the way we live our life. Main thing is like we don't need to stress. We need to exercise. Exercise is very important. Exercise and what we eat. Our eating habits have changed.
So those.
So yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's
So those are the things that you share as you go out advocating about, cancer and what you can do to stay healthy.
yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners this afternoon?
What the message I would like to send out is that the ladies, they need to understand their body. If you feel that something is not right, go down to the doctors. Yes, go down to the doctors. Go and have a check done. That's
Listen to your body, right?
yes.
Thank
When
you.
you know something is not right, have it checked.
Thank you. Ni sama tiko mai ngona radio bulan do vata ni bulan vinaka ke ramai Veitalanoa tiko nyongo ke Dua na marama ka lakuduruma tiko na veka ka tovi cervical cancer and na lima na mbaki sa oti sa mai bulan-bulan binaka tokongo ni reide ko mengori ni bulan-bulan binaka tiko Edwina Edwina Ali. Edwina Ali, your dad's Muslim and mom's Samoan, right? Dad is Muslim and mom is Samoan. Thank you so much, Edwina, for being available and joining us this afternoon. Before we say goodbye to our listeners, is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I would like to thank our sponsors. Yeah. Firstly, I would say that we, the cervical cancer survivors, we are here to help you. So please do call our helpline, sponsored by Pure Fiji, 249-4454.
Thank you.
Do call us on that. And also, I'd like to thank Buller Broads, Threads Company Limited, YY, Pacific Foods Limited, and also to the Fiji Diaspora Cancer Survivors. That's a cancer support team in Queensland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would also like to thank them because they've sent in the urostomy bags to me when they heard that I needed bags. I mean, colostomy bags. It was so kind of them to send me in some supplies. So I would also like. Yes, because like this, the bags, these colostomy bags are really expensive here in Fiji.
Thank you.
So yes, I'd like to thank all of them.
Thank you. Edwina Ali, mai baki tawitu ko ani ana no dia wasining ona vata and kabi benaka ni tusi tendendai ni karosanga bul karoni singa. De vula ko sita and no dia wasining ona bakatoka I tiko mo lata, de ona ke lata and abito koni ni Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance. Thank you, Edwina and Salote and Mayada Una for all that you're doing for our families and our friends out there in Fiji. We're trying our best to help in whatever way that we can. But feel free to come on the show and share whatever it is that you feel inspired to share. We're here for you. Thank you and wishing you all a blessed week.
Thank you very much.